What's going on, everybody? It's your guy, Rhett Butler. Please rate, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Frankly, give a damn. I know I'm normally giving you my perspectives on things, but I also love showing you my creatively random and amazing lifestyle. This video is no different. I was able to host yet again for like the third or fourth year, the Prince George's Film Festival 2025 edition, also known as Take 4. It was an amazing time at Bowie State University. I hosted a bunch of panels. I also was able to present some homegrown screenings, interview those filmmakers, and also host the award ceremony at the end, giving out some jewelry to the deserving filmmakers. It was a great time. Thank you to Prince George's Arts and Humanities Council, CEO Rhonda Dallas. She's also the chief curator, and also Prince George's Film Office head honcho, Donna Foster Dodson, and that whole team at PGAHC. Shout to you guys. I'm gonna get right into it. Check it out. Jumping on panels, making it happen. Bowie State Bowie State got something to say. And as always, I'm glad you guys get a chance to get a glimpse behind the curtain into what I got going on. If you're interested in having me as a host, moderator, all that, holla at your boy, always available. Hit me up, Rhett at rbutlerassoc.com. It's go time, y'all. Prince George's Film Festival 2025. It is your host with the most, moderator with the best, Rhett Butler checking in. Yo, today we're gonna have an amazing, amazing day. I've been hosting this festival for 3 years, y'all. It's my 3-year anniversary. I'm so thankful and blessed. I've been with these folks from the very beginning. Shout out to everybody at Prince George's Arts and Humanities Council, Rhonda Dallas, Donna Foster Dodson, Angela Archer, Keisha Mason, the whole team. Got love for everybody over there. That's my squad. Today I'm gonna do it big. I'm doing 2 panels. A little deviation from my norm. I'm normally doing like 10 panels on a Friday, but it gave me a little bit of a break, but a lot more love. So I'm so thankful. I'm really, really encouraged that we're gonna be at Bowie State University yet again, teaching all these great people how to get their films off the ground, enriching them with resources, demystifying, providing clarity. You know, I'm big into removing the unclear and putting you straight to the fast lane of success. So this means everything to me. And of course, to be doing it here in Prince George's County means so much. Thank you to all. I will be checking back in, showing you what's going on. I'm on my way. I'm encouraged. Success is here. Positive affirmations. Everything we do goes up. Run it up. You do the same. Love you, Rhett Butler, checking in, doing what I love and loving what I do. Make sure you are pursuing the same. Yeet! There we go, y'all. It's going down. Bowie State. Bowie State. We are here. Fine and Performing Arts Center. It's going down. Yes, indeed. I love this. This facility is amazing. What a great place. I'm so blessed to be able to work here and do my thing. Oh, I'm excited, man. I'm like a kid in a candy store with opportunities like this. I feel so blessed that people continue to ask me, to reach out to me, to do this kind of stuff. You know, like, not everybody gets these opportunities in life to enrich other people's lives with their voice, their vocal cords. Seriously, you know, I really have to think spiritually sometimes about these opportunities. And I'm lucky. I receive a lot of opportunity. But having an attitude of gratitude for each one in every moment and savoring and living in the present, that's what I'm about. For too long, I was so goal-oriented that I did not live in the present. Now, yeah, I'm awake. I'm here. I'm here for it. All of it right now, today. Whew, and savoring it. I feel so good. I'm excited. I'm excited. Just a guy from uptown New York. Uptown in the Bronx. Getting a chance to do something greater than himself. It's a beautiful thing. This is definitely greater than me. This isn't even about me. You know, the fact that I get to be a vehicle, what an honor. Seriously. Complete honor. Let's get it. Morning. How are you? Just made it, man. Prince George's Film Festival 2025. It's going to be a glorious day today, Friday, September 26th. 2 panels upon deck. Come on over, brother. I got my man with me, Marvin Church, Marv the Barb. For the last, 2 or 3 years, he's been with me day one. Normally we're in National Harbor all day, but today we have a short day. But Marvin's usually here to hook it up, get my shape up and all that good stuff, man. And he's just part of the fabric of the film economy in Prince George's County. You see him on your film set. And if you didn't bring him yet, that's why your shit didn't look like that. So anyway, holla at your boys. We here. We making it happen.
Stay sharp, Master. Celebrity Master Groomer. Let me clear that up. Marvin Barb, Marvin Church. I'm here to serve all the time, everywhere.
Bang. Here. Live from Bowie State. This is the behind the scenes flow, man. You know, I've been really lucky because one of my good friends comes to every single time I do this Prince George's Film Festival to get his signature look on the canvas, on the stage for these panels next to these big wigs in the film game. And that's none other than Marvin Church, Marv the Barb. So this is a peek behind the scene. We don't normally show you this part. You just see what happens on stage if you come to this. But we're gonna document this a little differently and bring you through the beginning. I took you on a drive with me to this place. And now we're here at Bowie State's Performing Arts Center. This place is amazing, by the way. Shout out to T.O. Joyce Williams, who's been a big help in terms of making this happen for the students here and for Prince George's County. And we're just blessed to have been a part of this film festival for this long, 3 years. You know. And yeah, this has been a tradition. Marv's come through. He's always figured out a way to make some time. He's very busy. It's CBC week as well. That means he's getting money. He's running around. You know, a lot of these guys' faces you're seeing right now, he put it together. A lot of these balls and whatnot. So the fact that he has time to come the county way.
I noticed as soon as I started talking, nobody was hyped yet. What's up, Prince George's County? There we go. Somebody's alive. I see filmmakers in the house. I remember you from last year, my man. You was getting awarded, and I know what's going on. First of all, thank you guys for coming out. This is my 3rd year. My name is Rhett Butler. I will be your host and moderator for today's Producing Your First Film. I have a question. Who has produced a first film? 1, 2. What's up, man? How are you? A lot of hands. Who is on their way to producing their first film currently? The same, if not half, of those hands. Can we give a round of applause to everybody that's doing that journey? One, we know how hard or challenging, I should say, that journey is of producing your first film, but we also know that if you come here today, you are equipped to figure out the finale and the finish. I have some great filmmakers that I'll be introducing you today to, Tia Smith, Monty Ross, Renee Green, but more than anything, you guys are the most important real estate we have here in Capital. I want to give a shout out to Donna Foster Dotson. Please give it up for her. She's putting all this together today, along with Rhonda Dallas. Now, to my filmmakers, who's brave, again, already produced the first film. Hands up, please. Okay, sir, I saw you first, sir. What is the name of your first film?
Let me put this bug in your ear.
Let me put this bug in your ear. Who's next? First film, sir. Forgetting. Is that, you won an award last year, if I'm not mistaken, correct? Is that the one you won an award for? Can we give it up for this award-winning producer, director, writer? Producer, director, writer, 3 hats, all the hats. Copy that. Yes, sir. First film.
The Alpha Wolf.
The Alpha Wolf. Is that self-affirmational, sir? You look kind of strong.
Back in the spring 2023 Syracuse exhibition show.
Okay.
Back in May 2023, it was my Syracuse's capstone.
Oh, okay. What school?
This school.
Bowie State.
Yeah.
Homegrown, baby. That's what I'm talking about. I see you in the back, ma'am, in the white first. You, white. In front of you, in front of you. There you go. Yes. Okay. It's on Tubi. What's it called again?
Unfailing Love.
Unfailing Love. Please open up your Tubi when you get home and check that out. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, another senior thesis.
Yes. Bowie State?
Solo versus the world, yes.
Beautiful.
Created and produced here at Bowie State University.
Okay.
My first
Solo versus the world?
Yes, it's a short
Awesome.
film. My
Short
first animated short film.
Boom. Animated. That's hard. Challenging. Yes.
I created here in this room.
Okay.
In May during the senior thesis exhibition last spring.
We are proud of you. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Yes.
I submitted it for the film festival.
Okay, you monopolize. I'm gonna cut you. I'm gonna get you, Sandman. Come on.
I'm
No, I'm
I'm
playing.
really disappointed that my film didn't make
I'm happy. No, we love that. We love that. Go ahead.
A short piloted episode titled The RAs. It was shot in a cinematography class here at the sports.
Beautiful. What was the title again? RA?
The residential assistant.
The residential assistant. Literally an RA. Love it. Okay. Glasses.
Good home training. Screening tomorrow.
Good home training. You talk to my mama? Stop playing.
She gave me some tips.
Okay. Good home training. Yes, sir.
My short film I wrote, directed,
Okay.
it was called Attached.
The text?
Attached.
Attached. Love it. Okay. I want to know more about this. Yes.
My first film was called Nothing But Love.
Love it. Miss Pamela Vines in the house. In the back, sir, with the hat.
Another version of you.
Another version of you. These titles are touching me. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
My first film was called Drain.
Drain. Okay. Okay. Deep hands.
Yvette Lee Bowser, Strength in the Struggle.
Yvette Lee Bowser, Strength in the Struggle. You guys are cracking right now. I'm not even gonna lie. But now, first things first, we're gonna get right into our event and panel for today. Producing your first film. The first person I'm gonna bring out actually has a trailer for her new film called The Air. Please roll the clip.
Coming back here acting like she's better than everybody. You better get your daughter. You know I raised you better than this. So what's the wrong way of coming? It is so tense in here, yo. All this fighting. How does that honor my Gladys?
It's not a we situation, it's a she situation. Or should I say decision?
You think about selling this house, and you know how much Mama worked for this and what it meant?
And everything just moving too fast.
Even if they are your elders, you have to stay true to what's in your good. I'm the one that took her back and forth to her doctor's appointments, took her to the hospital, stayed with her, dressed her, bathed her, got her financials in order. Mom left her with the decision. That's that. There's a reason why she trusted you. You know, sometimes doing something new is good.
Wow. That looks awesome. Please give it up for that. The writer, producer, and director of that short is Tia A. Smith. She's an award-winning executive producer, director, and creative consultant, known for creating powerful, culturally resonant content across film, television, and branded media. Honored with the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award from President Joe Biden, she's produced over 5,500 hours of content and served as a judge for the Emmys, NAACP Image Awards, and more. Smith is a national board member of the Producers Guild of America and founder of Talented Soul Productions and Air Bloom Entertainment. Her recent work includes Prime Video's Truthing with Randy B, Hallmark's Napa Ever After, and A Modern Sense and Sensibility. With each project, she brings vision, purpose, and impact. Please welcome Tia A. Smith. What's up, Tia? Trailer was nice. We're going to talk about this. Okay, next up, I have a gentleman, Monty Ross. He's a visionary filmmaker known for pushing creative boundaries and crafting stories that resonate deeply with audiences. Renowned for his ability to lead diverse teams and produce thought-provoking, critically acclaimed work, Ross blends innovation with artistic excellence. His films continue to inspire and leave a cultural impact, and also a co-founder. He thought I didn't know this though. 40 Acres A Mule Filmworx, Mr. Monty Ross. And last but certainly not least, Monty, you got the fans in the audience, baby. Last but certainly not least, Renee Green. She is a filmmaker and founder of Renee Green Productions, where she merges her background in finance with her passion for storytelling. Her award-winning documentaries, including The Coal Women, The Fatal Flight Buzz, 1-4, and Save the Peace Cross, have spotlighted overlooked histories and even influenced the U.S. Supreme Court ruling. You told me about that too, that was amazing. Most recently, she completed her first feature script, Granny Has a Gambling Problem. I said she was talking about my grandma. And her debut film, Extra Blessings. Please welcome Renee Green. Okay, first of all, Tia A. Smith, we got to talk about that amazing trailer. I saw some great luminary actors in there, and you gave me a little background in the back. But please, for our audience, what is The Air about?
Wow, The Air, and it's still really wild. You guys are getting the first peek of it. This is the first time I've seen it on the big screen. But The Air is about a young lady who inherits her grandmother's estate. And she has to decide what to do on the backdrop of gentrification and also a very dissenting family. And it's something they always say you're supposed to write what you know and or lived, right? And it's something that I lived on both sides of my family. On my father's side, 12 descendants were going back and forth on what to do with my great-grandmother's house in historic Rockville. And there were so many different reasons why we should sell or not. And then on my mother's side, she was left my great aunt's house with another family member. And, everybody always has something to say, right? Absolutely. So, there's decisions that are made as far as what to do. Do we stay to have a cultural presence, or do we sell it to further the wealth and the legacy? So again, I'm not trying to judge what you do. I just know it's a conversation. It's something that we all need to be talking about as far as estate and what you do. And no doubt across all kind of lines, whoever I've shared the idea with, all across cross-cultural lines, there's always this family dynamic when someone passes. People feel like their relationship was a little bit more. They should decide, who are you? And through passive-aggressive smiles and things that are real interesting, all it takes is one trigger to pop something off. So it's something that I lived, and I really want people to talk about it so that they can best posit their family and make sure that, that loved one's legacy is truly honored and not around a lot of crazy. So in 19 minutes, that's what we attempt to do. Yeah,
I love how you imbue the emotional intelligence into generational wealth building in those kind of conversations, because that's something that's the balance of the yin and the yang of generational wealth is never really discussed in that way, in a family dynamic way. I think that's really beautiful.
Thank you.
So first of all, I asked everybody in here today who's a filmmaker, who's done their first film, who's about to. The majority of this room are filmmakers actively, and they already have a film done. I just want you to know who you're talking to.
Very nice.
But getting to that, let's clap it up for you. But getting back to the nadir, I know you guys are seasoned vets, but what inspired you to produce your first film, Mr. Rose?
What inspired me to produce my first film? I'm gonna keep it all the way 100, if y'all don't mind. So at the time, I got married early. So I had 2 children. I had a wife. And I had a burning desire to tell our stories. And so friends, Spike Lee, and I just kept communicating all the time. And I had another friend who was always there. His name is Michael Telson Banner. And Michael is in the back there. But all of that energy that you saw, if you happen to see the movie School Days, all that came from...
Yes, we've seen School Days.
All of that.
He's so humble.
All of that stuff that you see with the fellas. Spike got all of that from a real group of fellas. So Michael was a part of that. I was a part of that, and there's about 4 other guys who were part of the fellas. And the inspiration came, we said to ourselves in school, are you really going to be committed to telling the story? And we had a thing, if we found out later on you were really not really down, we had a thing, we would just say, man, I wish I could do it.
There was a down barometer.
gotta, I'm gonna be cool.
For sure.
But I'm just really saying, like, we had a thing, that person ain't down, so-and-so ain't really down. So the inspiration came on the personal side. I was committed to my family and also to what we had established in college, because we're talking about the Atlanta University Center. So yeah, that's Morehouse, that's Clark, Spelman, Morris Brown, the Atlanta University Center. And in that small area, who's really gonna be down, right? And so for me, the challenge was, I gotta make all of this work. And so my buddy was Spike Lee. Before the email, Spike would write all the time. And so the inspiration to produce it was, I had been an actor, I was gaming to be the next Sidney Poitier, but that wasn't working out, and the opportunity came on She's Gotta Have It. And the opportunity was, we were $20,000 in debt on a film that we tried to do previous. The production manager was really pissed off and came over to where Spike was staying at the time. And Spike only weighed about 110 pounds. So this guy was about 6'2", 6'3". He stands up and stands over Spike and demanding accountability. So I said, well, the type of accountability you're talking about, I took my glasses off. I said, we can just go right here in the alleyway. We can figure this whole damn thing out. Because you're not about to stand over my man here who is, we 20,000 in debt. Investors not coming through, but you're not going to talk to him any old kind of way.
Monty, you was ready for smoke.
So, oh man, get your man. Get your man. I said, no, we can just go right here in Brooklyn. We go right here in this alleyway.
Oh, this is in Brooklyn?
Yeah, this is in Brooklyn. I said, we can take care of this right now. So he left, and when he left, I said, Spike, I want to raise my hand to be your production supervisor on the next film. And that was She's Gotta Have It. So 2 people in a 150 square foot small loft space, right, on 132 Adelphi Street. Those 2 people were Spike and myself, and we got the film made in 12 days. Wow. So after the film was made in 12 days, I was like, well, I'm just gonna go back to Atlanta and get going with my acting career, or try to get going with my acting career. Spike has an affectionate way of letting you know, like, he wants you by his side. So I got cursed out, and I got a one-way ticket to New York, and that started. And from that one film, we did 9 movies in 12 years.
Oh man, that's amazing. We're gonna get back to that $20,000. You ain't supposed to leave on that, but we good. Renee, interesting. Same question, but I'm gonna add an addendum to that question. What inspired you to produce your very first film? But I want to add that you had a 40-year career in finance before, and how did you identify the right story to tell at the beginning of your career? Because when we talked earlier, you told me about some amazing stories that you were passionate about, and you had to get that out. But after 40 years of not being in film, you jumped in and then went robustly. But talk about that.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm so glad to be here. For one thing, 4 years, 3 years I was in the audience, and today I'm up here.
Give it up for Renee Green.
So, but you're right. Yeah, I had 40 years of helping people financially. And really, when I look back on my career as a financial advisor, stockbroker, I've been really blessed. I've been blessed with not just the clients and helping people, but blessed with the stories. Because it's not about, it's about how you help people and how you make them feel and how they can go on with life when sometimes you're seeing people in the most difficult times of their life. Sometimes on the most joyful days of their life too. But I've been really blessed with a lot of wonderful stories. Plus, I have a crazy family. And they keep on giving me stories and stories and stories to write about. So about 20 years ago, I went back to school for writing. And I've written about 40 or 50 different short stories. And then 10 years ago, I started doing the documentaries just because I love film. I knew I had a couple really good stories. And I'm turning some of those old documentaries into scripts now. So like the Save the Peace Cross, the one where I went to the Supreme Court, saved the World War I Memorial down here in Bladensburg. Does everyone know about the World War I Memorial?
Yes.
Peace Cross?
Annapolis Road.
Right? Right on Annapolis Road? Yeah, a group of four atheists wanted to tear it down. And through the battle and through the documentary, everything was subpoenaed into the Supreme Court case. So next thing I knew, I was subpoenaed to appear in court and had 13 attorneys. So it actually helped save the Peace Cross. So the town made me their historian and their patriotic coordinator in the town of Bladensburg. But then also the B-52 that crashed up in Western Maryland, that a lot of people don't know about. So I did that. In case you didn't know, January 13th, 1964, a quarter of the country could have been blown up. This was right after Kennedy had been assassinated, and we were in the Cold War, and we were worried about Russia, and we had 13 B-52s flying around the world with thermonuclear bombs on them. And one of them crashed on the Green's farm, my family's farm, up in Western Maryland. And 5 of the crew members parachuted out, but it was during the worst blizzard, so they were all lost in woods and different areas in Western Maryland, and people had to go rescue them. So it's really about, other people going to save other people they didn't even know and almost died themselves. So it's a real great story. But from that, I got the bug, I really got the bug when I was at Maryland, and they had one film class. When I went to PG Community College, there was no film classes. That was like 40 some years ago. Now you guys got great programs, so kudos to
shout out to Bowie State.
And Bowie State has a wonderful program. So
I'm glad, Renee, I'm glad you're sharing these personal stories, because it sounds like you received your story inspiration from personal experience, and these are clearly sensational stories that you're saying.
Exactly.
You saw the value in it cinematically. Mm-hmm. But Tia, I wanted to find out, as I said, we have a lot of folks in here that have produced a film, but I'm sure there's still many questions about clarity on the process. What are the biggest mistakes first-time producers make?
In pursuit of trying to find your voice, you may quell it with outside expectations. It's great to admire people, but while you're studying in admiration, start to develop your own thoughts about the why. That's what's going to hold you, because we all know production. It looks extremely glamorous, excuse me, but they don't know. And I'll never forget, I had an interview with Kathleen Kennedy, one of my super producer mentors through the PGA, and she said, you better have your pre-production together, because once you get to set, when it's all cool and sexy, 80% of it is putting out fires, straight up. So that's the mechanical aspect of it, but from a creative and vision standpoint, make sure that you're sold on your why, and make sure that you're starting to develop your own voice as opposed to the voices of others. Also, as you're developing that voice and that creative, make sure that it aligns with your money. It makes no sense to have something that's posited for a sci-fi and not really have that money to get it done. You may want to sit that down for a second, pick up something else until you get the money. And or, as you probably just learned in the last panel, see how AI could benefit you. And also, to me, continue to hire people, because that that wonderful technology is also throwing off a balance for us creators too. That's necessary to emote, okay? So I love the advancement, but I still think that there's a beautiful marriage of human and AI. I'll get off my soapbox. But I would just say that, just make sure that you are understanding your why, that your budget makes sense to your story, that you build that team that's going to be ride or die with you. From some of the actors that you saw in the trailer, I told them about this 2-3 years ago, and they loved the story. Again, like Terry was like, man, I'm just going through this with an auntie's house. Some of my investors were like, I'm in because I'm trying to settle something in South Carolina. Wow. So you really look to those people that are going to support you. And as a producer, you're all about the resources. That's how you make it happen, right? So you lean into those people that believe the story that you're committed to.
Understood.
And then the other principles of production, like I said, getting your ride or die team. You shoot it. We had a combination of set vets and some young people. It was a wonderful chemistry that we had on our set. That was wonderful, and I'm grateful for it. Then you go into post-production, you line that up, and shout out to Prince George's Arts Humanity Council Incorporated, because we were a grant recipient, and that's how we got our sound mixing, and we got our music supervision, our original music, right in our backyard. DeAndre Schaefer, who works with Robert Glasper, did my original composition.
That's awesome.
There's so much around you that you can tap into. So those are the things that I would say to look into, as opposed to the failures. You need to concentrate on what you have.
Yeah, I have a question of all my first-time filmmakers and folks that may be working on their second film. How many of you guys have a trustworthy team, or have a team at all? Not as many hands. It's curious, Monty, when you discussed your relationship with Spike Lee in the early days, it sounds like you were clearly a trusted team member, and it seemed like you guys built that rapport over time. But how do you find a trustworthy team? I mean, you're walking into these trenches virtually alone until you get those to go with you. How do you figure that part out? Or is it just contractor-based relationships? How do you figure this out?
I think where we are right now, technology allows, the most savvy, especially with AI now, you can be a desktop filmmaker yourself because it's all prompt-based. And then if you wanted to shoot some live action, you can. So I always think but if you want a team in terms of the type of stories that you want to tell, it all depends on your content. Because the cinematographers who are really studying cinematography, the wardrobe people who are really studying wardrobe, the prop people, all of those people, they have a passion for telling a story too. And what they want to make sure is that when they show up, okay, you're ready to really focus on telling a better story. And they want to help you. Now, you don't get a really great team by thinking you know everything. I just want to say that.
Wait, I want to ask a question. How many know-it-alls are in the building? Y'all some lying producers, directing writers.
Now I know with the advent of YouTube, I know there's a lot of supportive stuff for what you are trying to do. Do not be the smartest person in the room. Surround yourself with people who have a vast knowledge on every single thing, even down to the craft service table, if you have that. Come on, talk to me. Let's keep it 100, right? Y'all trying to blow up and get to the next level, pop your collar, red carpet, premiere, right? See, so you can tell I'm from the old school. If you're the available resources, Adam Clayton Powell Jr., one of the great icons of our time, had a speech, a great speech. When he got fired up, he said, "What's in your hand?" Meaning that if you're trying to wait for everything that you're trying to wait for, what are your available resources? Mm-hmm. What are your available resources? I don't know nothing about Canva, but I'll be on that daggone Canva in the coffee shop.
Absolutely.
I'll be like, four cups of tea. I was trying to do, Mr. Brown. get this camera right, man. I gotta get this poster right. So I'm a mistake junkie. I'm telling you, I have made some mistakes for clients. I'm telling you. And I have been paid, but I have made some mistakes. But you're the generation of perfection because the apps tell you so much. And that's a beautiful thing. And like I said, I know you guys are waiting for those invitations from those prestigious events and film festivals and stuff like that. But Jeff Friday will never call me. And let's get everything. I'll tell you why Jeff Friday will never call me. And it's been 30 years of the festival.
Okay.
And I was there. I'm not even going to tell the story on Jeff.
Yeah, you set us up.
Jeff was mad when he left 40 Acres that day.
Okay.
Because of what he wanted. And I said, Jeff, I don't have that kind of relationship with Spike. He said, man, but you did. I said, man, I don't have that kind of relationship with Spike. What he wanted. He wanted to skip line and just get in the movie. And I was like, Jeff, I just don't do that. And so to this day, I've never been invited to ABF.
Oh, man, listen. Standing on business, Monty. Standing on business. I have a question, too, in terms of today's technology. What do you guys think about these new iPhones and their capabilities in relation to filmmaking? Are you believers?
Yeah, use that stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
4K, 6K. Man, shoot.
Right.
You should have a lot of cameras. How many people still have their DSLR cameras?
Oh,
man,
wow.
Stuff,
Okay.
Man. I got film cameras. I got 8mm cameras. Man, I ain't got that old big VHS.
Yeah. Nice.
Use all that stuff.
Right.
Man, anyway.
I've judged film festivals where I'll never forget, it was a family that was leaving Korea and they captured everything on their iPhone.
Wow.
And it was brilliant. And I'm talking about night vision too. So to your point, there's literally no excuse. You
That's
have
right.
everything you need. You got cap cut, you got
Yes.
cut, you
Everything.
got career, Let's go.
I love it. I mean, you heard Monty Ross. The new order of the day is every day you're making some content, if we heard him correctly. Before we wrap up and get to some Q&A, because we want to give you an opportunity to speak to these good folks, Monty, I know there's a trailer that you wanted to also showcase to the audience, and I want to throw to them.
Show the trailer?
We do.
I'm sorry.
Do you want to set it up?
I didn't do it right.
Oh, no, you did.
So my good buddy Michael Tolson Banner has been working on a documentary with his mentor, and I got a chance to meet Peter Bug, and so Peter Bug is an icon in the community. He's been at the forefront of making sure the community where he lives maintains its integrity through being a shoe academy.
Okay.
So he's a shoe repairman at his core, right? But the Shoe Academy has been at the forefront of so much that has made that area here in DC, I think it's Southwest DC, what it is today. Okay. And it was valuable because the gentrification came in there, woo! And now, Peter Bug Shop is probably the last place where an African-American small businessman has maintained his integrity for 50 years in the midst of all the gentrification that's happening. But do they love him? Mr. Peter Bug!
Let's roll the clip.
What we're going to do is bring down the spirits of your life on everybody else to make sure that we're safe with.
Let me put this bug in your ear. It looks awesome. Thank you, sir. Absolutely. I'd like to open up this time for any questions. Do any folks have any questions for our amazing panel? Yes, down front. I think a microphone's coming down as well. There you go. Right all the way here, 4 rows from the bottom.
I mean, I can just speak it and y'all can hear me fine?
We can, but it's too late.
Hey, so my name is CJ, by the way. My question is, so you guys talked about being open in your creative process and actually allowing people to influence you. My personal problem is more so when, like, finding that boundary of letting them influence you without letting them completely change and run your vision for you. I especially found this problem, like, when I'm working with people close to me, especially when it comes to music specifically, because it's like, it's such a kind of arbitrary thing where it's like, well, I'm not sure if arbitrary is the right word, but like, kind of perspective type of thing where it's like, it's kind of hard to see what would be best for the overall audience versus what you think is just best for your story. So where would you place that boundary and how would you place it?
It's hard. I mean, you use the word influence. To me, that is an opinion, right? If I am asking someone who has a specific expertise, I'm going to listen. And then I'm just going to wait. And more than likely with me, I'm going to pray about it. You know what I mean? That's a part of developing your voice, is when and how and who gets to make that right opinion that hits you and it feels right. You understand what I'm saying? Because again, there can be so many different voices. Even on set, I wanted to shoot steady a certain way. And I listened to my DP, and we worked together on some things, but I was adamant about how I wanted this shot composed. We ended up going with it. It looked great. You know what I mean? But then I was open to what he wanted to do, and then, like, when something wasn't really clicking, that's when I took his opinion in. I think it's always best, even when you're getting any kind of criticism, my mentor always taught me, consider the source. Okay? So you consider the source of who's in your ear and what their credibility is. And sometimes you're going to fight for what feels right, and then you should be pliable. It's literally a case by case. And when you talk about music, yeah, arbitrary is not the word, sir. Because it's another character to the story.
Right.
And again, it reminds me of talking to my music supervisor and DeAndre, who composed the music in my opening shot. I wanted it to come in tight, and you just see her despair. So he had some kind of high flute, I don't want to say piccolo, forgive me, but it was some kind of high flute, and I was like, no, this scene is blue. This scene needs something a little bit more grounded. And he worked with me. But then he said, hey, T, what about here when she gets up off the bed? How's that feel for you? It's an exchange, and you have to learn who to trust. Hope that helps.
Yeah.
Great insight.
I think you need to kind of go with your gut feeling, though, and yes, collaborate with other people, and then also, you know, set the stage, so to speak, beforehand of what are the boundaries and what, because you don't want to get into a situation where you have someone that comes in and takes complete control, and then you lose control of what your vision and what you wanted, your project, your movie, your music video or whatever, it changes it. But you need to maintain, you know, your ownership and your vision, and discuss that ahead of time before you get onto set. I know that, you know, you know, we all have problems on set, and it's good to collaborate. I was lucky that I had a fantastic DP that really, you know, was able to collaborate with us on different things on our set. But, you know, it was, you know, my film, my idea, my things, and I had to be really specific on certain scenes that were important to me, and not someone else going in and going, oh no, we're cutting that completely out. No, it's very important to do it this way. And you have to work with people that, and know ahead of time. Don't get on set and then go, oh my goodness, what's happening? Because you don't want to do that. It's too expensive, you know? And this is your vision, and this is important to you. And you want to get out what you are thinking about and what you want people to view the purpose of your project. And that needs to come across. And collaborate. Listen, but collaborate and make your own decision. You need to be the one in charge.
Great insight.
One last thing. I like the term consider the source. Everything in the movies, the original film, She's Gotta Have It, came as a result of great collaboration. Wayne Thomas, the production designer, was the one when we were in the loft who made sure, like, and he and I used to go at it all the time in terms of the budget, you know. And then I started listening to him, and so he said, "No, I got you, man. I got a guy who's going to do the bad. He wanted 150. Can you sweeten it up a little bit? Give me 175." I said, "Man, let's do 165." But the bad for She's Gotta Have It, Wynn had the same. He was thinking the same way I was. Keep our costs low, but then bring in those people who could really help us with the vision. And that's how you got the bed. And then we figured out product placement. So we got product placement, which got us the furniture from Conrad's. And then we, you know, the refrigerator and all that other stuff. So it's really consider the source, and then them really helping you take your vision and make your vision a lot better than what you had in mind. That, to me, is where it is. You know, you're thinking one way, but they take your vision and help you make it better. Oh, man. Woo! Nothing like that type of collaboration, man. When you high five on that, y'all don't do high five no more.
So, Monty, you killing it. Another question. I saw you first.
I wonder, could you speak to the, because I don't see it anymore, the guerrilla spirit of filmmaking, where you just grab your camera and you're going to do it. I got enough money to get to next week. After next week, I don't know. But I think you touched on it a little bit when you did product placement. It's not always about the money. It's about you pursuing your dream, pursuing your passion, what keeps you alive. We came up with an era where it was guerrilla filmmaking. You just grabbed your camera and you walked out the door. That was it. That was it. So can you speak to guerrilla, the spirit of guerrilla filmmaking? Because I don't see it anymore. And you have all of this technology out here, and you're not, and I don't see them employing the spirit of guerrilla filmmaking with all this technology.
Sounds like it got Monty written all over it.
Well, I think that where we are right now, guerrilla filmmaking means something completely different. And I think what it means now, you know, everything has to be analyzed first. A 20-page dossier has to be written, an essay has to be composed about the highs and the lows, only because guerrilla filmmaking now, the spirit of just grab your camera and go, everything is analyzed now. So I think it's still present, y'all. I think it's still present. I just think, like I said, I think the fear is I'm going to make a mistake that is going to cost me. Whereas before, when there was a lot of restriction about the African American story in the marketplace, you knew that it was you telling that story, and that story is not going to get told. But today, like I just said earlier, y'all are afraid to make mistakes. And that is going to cost you, because AI makes us lazy in one sense, and you forget that you have to practice every single day. If you don't think like a cinematographer, think like a wardrobe, you have to begin that process so that you can grow as a professional. If you don't do that, you're just going to be sitting in the house, ordering DoorDash, stomach getting because you're too afraid to make mistakes. That's what the guerrilla filmmaking spirit needs to be today. Do not be afraid to make mistakes. And if somebody dogs you out about your mistake, tell them that, y'all know what to tell them.
Right.
That's my thing. Y'all have so much technology, man. Woo, I wish we had as much technology as y'all have. Y'all got everything. And it's only going to get worse. By the time December rolls around, it's going to be worse in terms of like the amount of technology that's available to make your job easy. But if you don't have the spirit of making mistakes and grabbing your camera and learning the process manually, you're not going to be that.
Yeah.
You ain't going to be that seasoned veteran.
Yeah, this sounds like Guerrilla Filmmaking 101. You're not going to get bloated from DoorDash. All right, you got to go out and film every day. Practice, practice, practice. Oh, you're fine. Any more questions, please? They got one. There you go. And I see two more straight in the middle. Okay.
So one of you guys mentioned about when making sure your cast sees your vision. But what if your cast is doing voice acting? Like, how do you help them see your vision? Because they're staring at a wall. They're not looking face to face with somebody. So, like, how do you help them see that vision?
For me, connection with your cast is essential because when you are in the booth, that costs money, and or you get the set, you're working some things out. You're letting them in the first maybe couple of takes work some things out, but you're about the business. You have to get it done. So it's huge to connect in some type of way with your actors. When they get booked or when you reach out to them and say, listen, when I wrote this for you. And let them in, be vulnerable about why you created this, or either as a director or producer, why it was handed to you. What are the touch points? Really get them to understand the vision and the emotional intelligence of it so that the next time, either if you have even another meeting with them, you can iron some things out, or when they get into the booth as a vocal actor, they're locked and loaded with who that character is and they deliver. So, table reads obviously are great for that. You get, before your production, do your table read. You're kind of seeing what works or not. Is there real chemistry here? Do you have to adjust anything at this time? It's that pre-production that helps you, and that pre-intimate conversations you have with someone really makes a difference, so they know what they're doing.
I would have got off on 197.
2 panels down Friday. Started the Prince George's Film Festival. It's been a great day. Normally, like I said before, I'm used to doing like 10 panels in a day in the National Harbor, but this one at Bowie this year has been great. 2 amazing panels, producing your film, financing your vision. Rewarding, great conversations, stimulating, and I think a lot of young filmmakers have been helped. I think I have one more thing for Prince George's Film Festival. A movie screening for Perfectly Us. So this is my script. I'm gonna read this, and then they're gonna play the film, and then I'm gonna introduce the filmmaker to talk about the film. But day 1, starting to wind down. It's in the books. Day 2. See you tomorrow.
All right, y'all, it's day 2, Prince George's County Film Festival. How's everybody doing? Hey, all 3 of you, We appreciate the energy. Shout out to Arkadell Cook. It's a party of 4 right now, but we're still gonna give you your flowers, man. This man dropped an amazing film, Perfectly Us, on Tubi. He got a QR code. If you don't know, just Google it, just search it, it's there. Run up the numbers. Today we have distribution and promotion, day 2 of this amazing film festival, and I have 2 great folks to talk to you about this important subject. First, Camille Thelemaque-Bearden. Camille Thelemaque-Bearden is Director of Marketing Partnerships at TV1 and Clio TV, where she crafts impactful cross-platform campaigns for brands like Verizon, Comcast, and Philo. With over a decade of experience in media, hospitality, and nonprofits, Camille is a dynamic storyteller and relationship builder known for delivering culturally relevant brand engagement. Please welcome Camille. And this is my guy right here. I've been on panels with him for the last few years. Shuaib Mitchell is an award-winning director, producer, and screenwriter who serves as president and CEO of United Filmmakers, LLC, a leading distribution company specializing in African American and African film and television programming, which distributes content across a wide range of platforms, including theatrical releases, broadcast, cable TV, and other emerging technologies. He is also a PG Film Grant recipient, which was instrumental in the completion of his latest film, The Game That Changed College Basketball. This film explores impact at the 1974 championship game between University of Maryland and NC State on the NCAA tournament. Please welcome Shuaib Mitchell. Thank you folks for making it, especially Camille. I know you got a busy schedule, but you guys came to bless us. You know, I talked about Brother Cadell Cook earlier because he has a great film on Tubi, but streaming is the wave, right? This is our new normal. Folks are cutting the cable cord as we speak daily. But with so many streaming platforms, what's realistic for an independent filmmaker seeking distribution? I mean, the landscape is so vast.
Starting with me?
Please.
Well, certainly it's an honor to be back here, Rhett, and give honor to God, and certainly I thank the Prince George County Film Festival for bringing us in. All things are possible.
Okay.
That's the amazing thing about the time we are in now. As you mentioned, there's so many streaming platforms that are available to filmmakers that were not available when I entered into the industry. We, in fact, own a streaming platform ourselves.
That's right.
It's called African Diaspora Network TV.
Nice.
It's currently on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, all of your Apple phones and devices, all of your Android phones and devices.
Can we give it up for Shuaib for that? That's not a small feat, sir.
And so with those kind of possibilities, and of course we all know what YouTube has available for filmmakers.
That's right.
There are all kinds of opportunities for filmmakers to get their films seen.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, Camille, talk to us. I mean, obviously you're dealing with linear cable as well, but talk about streaming, and has that impacted TV1 and Clio and these other brands?
Well, let me preface by saying that linear cable is still alive.
Apologies.
Not in the same realm that we have known it, but still a very strong contender in terms of having your content available and getting the eyeballs that are really important, right?
Absolutely.
But we're here to talk a little bit about streaming opportunities, and to echo Shuaib, those possibilities are endless.
Okay.
I like to think about filmmaking or storytelling and just using terms as content. The ability to get your content on different platforms has never been more accessible than it is right now. So while we're talking about platforms like Tubi or Philo or YouTube TV, we should also consider those social media platforms as they are entering that same space.
Okay.
So Instagram, you're looking at Snapchat, and it's more snackable short form content. But the opportunity for engagement and getting some sort of distribution or agreement for that short form content is equally as important. So there are different avenues that you can explore, but again, to echo everyone here, your possibilities are endless.
That's interesting you brought the social media platforms in the mix. I mean, are they, not to use a colloquial term, are they cutting deals with folks in the same way?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the newer trend that you will begin to see is something called creator partnerships. And I think we see a little bit of that with influencers and having these brand partnership deals, but they're also looking for production. I just actually sat in on a call earlier this week where there was a pitch for a scripted series, and the question floated about, is there an opportunity to make this a bit more snackable? Can we repackage this to, instead of maybe 30-minute episodes, we're looking at something between 2 to 5 and 7 minutes, and this production company said, absolutely. I think we are nimble enough, but folks are looking at Telework content on their phones, so why wouldn't they want to get in the game as well?
Right.
Yeah.
Let me ask our filmmakers. Does that propose a challenge to you to make it more minuscule for those kind of formats, or do you think that's something you can easily digest and get into? Mr. Cook.
Oh, okay. Hey, so I'm actually in the process of working with some filmmakers to do just that. And the challenge is in the writing format is to make sure that you have the cliffhangers at the end of each little chunk.
Okay.
Because if we're writing in the long form, the cliffhangers don't really come at the same pace that you're expecting for the short form. So the challenge is just the writing part. Make sure you have the cliffhangers that go with that, so you're not cutting it in a way that's unnatural.
Indeed.
Come back for the next episode.
Yeah.
But after you get past that, you just film it.
Yeah, with the evolution, I think of just having that content available. And everyone is looking at their phones, and our attention spans, unfortunately, are decreasing. You're looking at those opportunities to keep folks engaged and want them to continue to click to the next post. So I could see that being a challenge, but one that I'm sure you and your team are up to fix.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's great information. Camille, what do platforms look for when deciding to license or acquire indie content?
That's a really good and multi-layered question.
Indeed.
I think you have to look at the platform, or I can take it from a network perspective, right? I'm here, I work for TV One, I'm interfaced with a lot of different networks all over, and there is some sort of network identity. So oftentimes if you're looking to do some co-produced content or programming with a network, they have their identity. What kind of shows are they, currently have on their schedule? Is it lifestyle programming? Is it, more unscripted dramas? I think that attractability, first and foremost, is important when you're having that conversation. But if you're looking at something like a streaming platform, the opportunities or genres tend to be more broad. And so you really want to kind of look at who their viewer is and make some sort of alignment in terms of attractability when it comes to pitching your content. So one thing that I always share with people, you can't really escape a deck, whether you're a creative, whether you are on the marketing side, the production side, everything starts with some sort of synopsis and presentation. And in that deck, your presentation, you really should be highlighting the points in your story that align with their business objectives, that align with their target audience, and then also aligns with their advertisers. I think that's another thing, a missed opportunity that sometimes creators don't think about because you're solely focused on telling the story, and you should be. But someone in my position thinks, how can we extend the life of this content once it goes off? How can I get people to continue to talk about it? And then what brands also want to align, because they're also going to want to spend dollars to amplify that platform, and so that we can then continue to promote that show. So that attractability to a brand, the target audience, and then just the overall identity of the network or platform is helpful.
Yeah, the show business. It's looking at the business while being creative as well. Shuaib, with your streaming platform, do you do similar kind of deals, or do you look at folks that approach you the same way? What's the process to get on your platforms?
Well, with us, of course, we're an African-American and African-based company, so we're looking for content. Now, we do program content that is not necessarily considered of the African diaspora. In fact, we have a good partner in India that we are dealing directly with to bring films from...
Huge market, obviously.
Huge market, man.
Huge.
Kidding me? So we're trying to really get on top of that because, as you know, Bollywood has a large following, as well as some of the Hindi.
Right. And you work with Nollywood, too. So.
Yes. Nollywood is really our specialty.
Yeah.
But the key is, I think the problem that you have as a filmmaker is, how do you know these things? I mean, how do you know what they're you can watch TV One, of course, and see the commercials that are coming on, but you have no idea what kind of relationships they have, what kind of brand. That's really on the executive to look at your project to see how it may fit. I, as a filmmaker as well, you know, I've always had a problem trying to think marketing with the concept and how I can really sell this in advance. I think you need to be true to your story first, and then surround yourself with a team, or if you can find a partner, a cable broadcast streaming partner. That's what every filmmaker is looking for, partnerships, and that's what we try to offer. In fact, that is our mandate. Our motto is shifting the balance of power back into the hands of the filmmaker. Thus, the company's United Filmmakers. All of my partners, except for one who's an attorney, are filmmakers ourselves. So this is why we started the company, in fact, because we were getting ripped off by our distributors. Constantly, and so we saw a need there. So I had to step into this space.
When you say ripped off, not to lean into your personal business, but when you say ripped off, meaning
ripped off,
bad
Hollywood,
deals being brought to you?
Well, everyone knows that Hollywood has what we call Hollywood accounting.
Okay.
And so what I always say, I think I told this joke in previous panels, is that I had a film, my first film was done long before some of you were even born, back in 1992. And it was distributed by a company called ATA Trading Corp. They're no longer in existence. But they had an international distribution deal. The film aired on PBS. And when I looked in the mail just this morning on the way here, my check still hadn't arrived. This is 1992. And
still looking for the check, even this morning?
This morning. I'm still looking for it, bro. It ain't coming, and it's not coming. But I mean, I say that jokingly, but there's still, even when I did receive returns, when I had a deal with Maverick Entertainment, I had deals, I still saw that the enormous fees, distribution fees, marketing fees, packaging, all these fees were tagged onto the filmmaker. So what we do at United Filmmakers, we incur those costs. We believe we're going to market your film anyway. We're going to market our company, market all the product. All the marketing budget covers everything. Now, unless you need special attention, of course, packaging, you don't have SRT files, whatever you may need, then of course we'll discuss that and we'll take that off at the top. But we have a straight 50-50 deal with partners. You help market, we market together. That's really our motto as a company. But I didn't want to get too much into that, but that's the problem you have as a filmmaker.
You know, piggybacking on all these conversations, but again, sticking to you, Shuaib, when you talked about your film, The Game That Changed College Basketball, if we're looking at the marketing components and even the possible alignment with other brands or advertisers, is that something that you would look at releasing around like a March Madness time? Like, how are you supposed to think as a businessman while making a film like that?
Well, that's exactly when we plan to release it. We plan to release it this coming March. Working on deals right now. Based on AFM. Going there. I have a couple of meetings. I have another. You know, we're constantly meeting on that to see if there's, because again, we own our own platform, but we don't have the audience that automatically, organically could support the kind of money I've already spent into this movie. So we're looking for partnerships where we would get the back end and then be able to distribute on our platform.
Were you thinking about a network while you were making that film as well?
Well, we pitched it when it was in the concept stage. I pitched it to CBS. Well, actually, ESPN first.
Right, of course.
ESPN passed twice. CBS said, yes, we'll do it. Well, CBS Sports, but we not gonna give you any money. She's ready to go make it. Fox Sports said, yeah, we love it, man, but we're not gonna give you any money. So I went out and like I've done with all of my films, raised the funds, produced it, and now we're coming back and circling back to see what might be the perfect partner for us.
Camille, does that look like a typical example of how somebody should approach you when they're thinking about timing, packaging, making it make relevant sense to your brand?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that as an executive, there is a lot of onus on myself and our teams to create these pockets for promotion. But one thing that you both touched on was the opportunity for what we may call tentpole alignment. So we may have programming that we promote during a specific time of year, whether it aligns with Black History Month or the holidays or back to school. It makes it an easier sell to the consumer when anyone can say, and especially platforms, they'll say we have this wide library of content that helps you with, back to school time. As a family, maybe you and your kids want to sit and watch movies about starting a new school or being a person in a new environment. Or maybe, it's something about being home for the holidays. Maybe you're someone like me and you live very far away intentionally from your family and you go back to see them a couple times a year. You love them very much. And what that story, feel-good relationship stories, those are things that also make things a bit more attractive to an executive and also more packageable. But I never want to limit the creative possibility for any filmmaker, because your story, the onus is on me to position where your story could best be seen. So I would never walk into a project unless it's intentional. Hallmark has lots of holiday programming. They intentionally make movies about Christmas. Indeed. So unless you're taking that lane, I would never want you to limit your opportunities in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of it's serendipity as well, right? Like, it just happened to align. The timing was perfect. It was the right scenario.
But it makes it so much easier.
So much. I wanted you guys to hear that, because making her job easy is going to work for TV1. Staying with you, Camille. What are some of the success stories? I mean, we talked about some, what if scenarios, but what are some actual success stories of filmmakers who distributed independently, found an audience possibly to do?
That's a really good question. I can think of someone who actually started in the podcast space. There is a young woman who has a podcast called In Kill in Color, and she started generating a lot of fandom, a lot of eyeballs, based just through her dialogue, through her podcast, which then moved to her in her car doing, once again, that snackable content, to now being connected with a larger production company, to which she's been shopping a format that will allow her to talk about these true crime stories on a larger scale and be available, for the
true
masses.
Crime is hot.
Yes, it is. Very much so.
We love the mess.
We do. we do, but we also need more representation in that space as well. I just attended a couple of weeks ago what's called Crime Con, and it's
Crime Con?
Yes, there's a very large convention that centers around all parts of the true crime genre, whether it be podcasts, television shows, judges, attorneys, content creators, and that space is overly saturated with our stories, good, bad, or indifferent, but not lots of representation from many networks or production companies. There isn't a physical minority representation at these shows. So what you see are a lot of consumers who enjoy the entertainment of it all, and very small amounts of organizations who actually represent the people. Wow. And I think that while our stories are being told, they also need to be narrated and shifted for our lens, and something that isn't just purely entertainment. And so that's you can think about it when it comes to other genres as well, taking true crime outside of it. That relatability, especially if you're telling Black and brown stories, that relatability and authenticity is really important, and allowing your stories to connect to the matter of the heart of our people as well. I think fosters genuine connection, and we will start to support in droves. So there was that true crime. I hope I did answer your question.
Yeah, I think so.
But there are others. That social media engine is a very powerful tool if used strategically, and I think that getting people to align and get familiar with you and your story as you create the story is really important. So it's showing a lot of the behind the scene works. It's showing a lot of your setbacks. People like a relatable story. And so before you even produced anything, oftentimes they've already connected with you as a person, and they're going to want to support and amplify your work in any way. So that's something also to consider.
Do the podcaster doing the true crime, did that come across your desk too, or that's just an industry story?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
I'll say a little bit of both, yeah.
Did they make the grade for you?
For me, I am a champion and an advocate.
Okay.
I will leave it there.
I love that. I love that. Did anybody else's mom watch Law and Order, SVU, ABU, DBU every day like mine?
All the time.
Okay, she just struck a chord with me.
And White Blues.
Everything. My mom watches it. Oh, I'll be like, oh my God.
And Ice-T actually was at that.
Ice-T was there?
He was there.
We gotta love Ice-T.
Said getting every check
Yes.
out of that Law and Order
Every check.
franchise.
I love it.
Yeah.
The best rebrand in the game.
Yeah.
Hands down. Shuaib, how much time and money should filmmakers realistically expect to spend if they self-distribute?
Well, you know, the rule of thumb, and it's changing every day, the rule of thumb is that your marketing or your P&A budget should match your production budget.
Okay.
That's the rule of thumb. Obviously, that's not often realistic. So I would suggest you take at least a third if you can.
Okay.
Set that aside for P&A. Because I know half of it, I mean, shucks.
Can you give us that acronym? PNA.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No worries.
It stands for prints and ads.
Thank you.
Traditionally includes all advertising. So if you're not going to print, you still are going to advertising. So that budget, in fact, oftentimes when we're on the production side, not often, we will ask you that question.
Okay.
What is set aside? What is your P&A? You know, because that's crucial in terms of being able to release the film.
Is there a minimum threshold you're looking for as a barometer to want to do business with you?
Well, it depends, again, it's percentage-wise. So if your budget is $150, I'm suggesting that $50,000 be set aside for P&A. You shoot the film for $100.
Sure.
And I'll say this to filmmakers, and I've said this to my good friend Cam, my assistant, who's always here. Thank you, Cam, for always supporting, brother. But I've said this to young filmmakers that don't let the pressure of the actors, the crew, whomever else is trying to get money out of you, because they will milk everything they can, as they should.
Okay.
We get paid, and got to get
Makes
paid.
sense.
And so they're going to try to get as much as they can out of the production. But when you're sitting there alone with the editor, you're sitting with your publicist, and you're like, I ran out of money.
Right.
Now I can't do what I need to do to get it out there. They're going on to the next project. Absolutely. And I learned that the hard way. That's why I share that often. I had a film that had theatrical set up, and I couldn't release it because my investors had invested everything. They needed a return, and I didn't think that. I wanted to make sure everyone's happy, everyone was paid some actors more than I should have, and there I ended up. So all filmmakers, put that P&A aside. You need it.
Beautiful. Camille, do you believe in filmmakers already creating an audience before they approach you? And if so, what do you think is a good way for them to prove that they have an audience or start to build one?
Again, I think that makes everyone's job a lot easier when you have a built-in audience for your show.
Indeed.
There is a lot of content out in the world, and if folks have the option of choosing your body of work or a body of work with perhaps actors or a director that they are already familiar with, that 9 times out of 10 will choose what's familiar over what's new. Unless you have someone who is just a true fan of the art and fan of the industry, most times folks are going to align with what they know. So coming to a space and pitching your content and saying, you know, this suite of movies that we produced, I have X amount of social equity, whether that's followers or maybe you have your own independent platform, or perhaps it's subscribers on your YouTube for some of your other original content. To come with that packaged, especially if it aligns with the content that's already on a specific platform. I think you mentioned that you have something on Tubi now. You know, if Tubi broadly has a pretty specific audience that looks a lot like us. I want to say it's like 80% African American consumers that are on Tubi. It's one of the highest.
I thought that was just my algorithm. It's all of us.
So it's a little bit of both, but we can talk about that a little bit later. You know, to be on Tubi and have that familiar content is great. If you can also drive eyeballs to Tubi, that also ends up working for the folks at Tubi as well, right? And so they see that and say, oh, the people that are viewing what you've produced aligns with our audience. Maybe these folks aren't currently customers of Tubi, but you can drive these eyeballs to our platform. Absolutely, we want to pick that up.
Indeed.
So there's definitely some value in having your own baseline. And quite frankly, take creation out of it. When you have a community of support, it always helps you move a little bit further. It helps you move down the line. It helps you achieve your goals a little bit more quickly, right? So that community, however that looks, is always going to be a plus.
We're talking metrics here in terms of proving this, or is it more like I have a really crafty publicist that knows how to get hype?
Metrics always. That's the money right there. So if you can say, you know, you have a publicist, or you have maybe someone on your team who's very good at pitch and presentation, and they can sell this concept of how you can attract more eyeballs for this platform, that's great. It's even better to say, I also have 1 million people at any given moment that I can connect with and promote this and amplify your platform.
Makes sense.
It works out better every time.
Okay. I want to stick with Cadell, and I think you have a hand up as well.
I do.
But quick question, how many films have you made?
I've made 2 features and there's 1 short that's also on TV.
Okay, I asked that for a reason, but ask your question first.
Okay.
Or make your comment.
You made some really great points,
Thank you.
Do I need to, I don't, I'm just going to talk loud.
I can hear you.
Okay, hey now. Okay.
Microphone barrier would still be amazing.
So about the metrics, if I as a filmmaker have X amount of followers, and the algorithm is shifting so that the followers aren't as important as, you know, as the individual post being, you know, viral or whatever, because I can get 2,000, 3,000 views on something, but I still have 100 followers just because it agrees with the algorithm. So the question is, my personal metrics on my platform or metrics on individual videos, like what kind of metrics is more impressive to a network to help with associate with the film, you know?
That's a really good question. And I wouldn't focus so much on just a follower count, right? Because most platforms report out what engagement looks like for a particular post. So here's a perfect example. I rarely, if ever, use my TikTok. I think I've probably put 3 posts on there. It was me on my birthday, me at somebody else's birthday, and I don't know, something else. I think I've had 2 or 3 posts. My mother's 60th birthday just passed last weekend, and I posted a video of her on my TikTok, which got 10,000 views of just my mother dancing because she looks good for 60. And like 1,000 comments, right? As someone who has 200 followers, because I don't use it, I was shocked. The algorithm is not set up to amplify any of my content. So you have these kind of one-offs. If I were looking to sell that, I would then look at my engagement report. So how many times was this shared? And you can even, you know, report that out in terms of percentage. You know, you've seen an increase of 800% engagement on your last X amount of posts. That shows that you have growing interest. You know, I have about 800 comments, or, you know, I think that most platforms, Instagram and TikTok specifically, especially if you have a business page, will report out what that engagement looks like. So often that can round out the story that your follower account may not tell. And I think it's important to highlight both of those, because, you know, there are instances when you think about maybe HBO, more times than not, somebody might follow the Curb Your Enthusiasm or Game of Thrones page. You're not following the HBO Instagram.
Right.
So for that fact alone, you know, that number, that follower count doesn't really mean much. But then say they post about, a Game of Thrones episode, or I can't remember what the name of the spinoff that's taken 800 years for season 2. House of Dragon. House of the Dragon. If they post about House of Dragon and that goes on the HBO post, they're likely to see a jump in engagement and interest. So it's really about shaping your story in that effect, and don't be so focused on the follower count. Additionally, I think it's helpful if you have talent that has some sort of following. If you're packaging a project that includes that talent, I think that including that is important because it helps expand your reach. So that's also something that could be considered.
Yeah, and to Camille's point, your mama could turn 60 all the time. Just tell her to keep dancing.
Honestly.
TikTok goes up. It's our problem. She's gonna love being the same age for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. And now I have to figure out a whole series if TikTok is something I want to pursue.
Manage your mom. Uncle.
What's your name again, brother?
Cadell.
So Cadell, you have an advantage. You said you had 2 films released already on Tubi. You have the numbers. You're already an established filmmaker. I understand what she's saying, but I'm looking at you. You come to me, and you've already had your films. How well did it do? You show me that it's done well, then of course we're going to take a chance on you in your next film in terms of production, giving you financing, because you're an established filmmaker. I think another thing that you look at, there are a number of Tubi groups on Facebook, a number of Tubi groups. They have, I don't know about much on LinkedIn, but I do know on Facebook. And so by you engaging, and of course you can't keep saying, hey, watch my movie, but what you can do is engage, talk about other films, and then, hey, kindly mention, well, if you like this, why not check this out? And now you'll see an uptick. Trust me, we've done it. And you'll see an uptick on your films on Tubi, because we have 4 films we've released to Tubi now, and about 12 on Amazon Prime that we have there. And we begin to engage, you see a difference. Trust me. So yeah, that's how I would look at it from you. Not that what you're doing in terms of your own social media page doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter as much as a first-time filmmaker who doesn't have a film released, has no numbers, can't show me how well that film is done with an actual established platform such as Tubi.
100% agree with you. You are in the door to a certain degree, and I think that oftentimes that is the most difficult piece. In this industry, most of the time, if you've done something with one business partner, when you try to align with another business partner, and you can say you've already built that relationship, that speaks far more volumes than anything else. So I definitely agree with you 100% on that. Solely in the context of social equity and reporting that out is the lens that I want you to take my answer in. But absolutely, that's probably the most difficult thing to do, is get in the door anywhere. So if you've demonstrated that, then your reach goes up already, because you've got shows, movies on platforms, you're using their customers, and you also have that behind the wall reporting system to see who actually has been watching. And those are the important numbers, I think, that speak loudly. In terms of marketing, having that social equity is supplemental to that, but certainly being in the door and having those eyeballs already is gold.
Yeah, and I want to stick to that, because yesterday was my first time seeing Perfectly Us, and there was a lot of people in the room when we showed the film. It was their first time. We were supposed to finish as soon as the movie was over, and it was too much demand to hear this man speak. And we actually stayed longer than we were supposed to. So I don't know how much that also impresses those who might be interested in partnering with this gentleman on certain things, but that was a template for me to showcase how you can just have organic emotion just by just showing the art and being authentic. That was pretty cool. Shout out to you, Cadell. Let's give this man a round of applause. That was awesome, man. You're doing your thing. And I asked that question about how many films you made for a reason. So because he already has films in play, but let's just say he's between his first and his second, how do you keep the momentum going as he's already producing, but he might not be seeing the gains he thought he would have seen in terms of getting partnerships with?
Great question.
My man. And that's for everybody, by the way. I do not work for you.
Well, yeah, that is a challenge, man. I know how you feel. It's always difficult to go from film to film to film without having, if you're fortunate to get a picture deal with the studio or something. So you have to leverage. And just as Camille was saying, in terms of now that you have the film already on Tubi, you gotta really push out that marketing and that social media engagement to stay on top of that. Then people know it's out there. There are a number of audiences who haven't seen it, even though it's there. I mean, I'm just finding out about it myself. So those are the people you have yet to reach. I think that's where the marketing campaign. Now, in terms of the financial side, we come in, we know that you have films there. Now we're looking at you much more seriously. The key is going to be able to engage your investors to invest again, now on a larger project. That's the key. We'll talk about it actually after the finish.